Hello and welcome to Stahls TV. I have a special guest today, Mandy Graham from SparkleBerry Ink. We're excited to introduce Mandy and her business, SparkleBerry Ink, to all of the Stahls customers, and we'd like to also welcome the audience from the SparkleBerry Ink Facebook page and SparkleBerry Small Business Group. So we have some very exciting news. We've been talking with Mandy now here at Stahls for the better part of a few months. You visited our headquarters in Michigan a couple months ago, and we've been working on a collaboration that's to die for, in my opinion. So without further ado, we'd like to introduce to you SparkleBerry Ink Patterns exclusively through Stahls by the roll. And you've been designing patterns for a while, but for the Stahls viewer, can you kind of bring them up to speed on who SparkleBerry is and how it got started?
Absolutely. We are so excited about this collaboration. SparkleBerry started 2 years ago, and it's when I basically decided I wanted to do something very special for the heat transfer vinyl world. And we started designing our very own exclusive patterns, and we are very, very serious about our quality and our consistency, and we love our customers, so we're having a great time.
Yeah, the quality and Mandy's brand really aligned well with Stahls and our attention to quality and customer service. And when we first started speaking, we started talking through this collaboration and what it would look like and how it would work. And the thing that kept driving us is you have hundreds and hundreds of designer patterns, all very bright, all very colorful, and you have a fanatic following, let's say, of people that just use your stuff, love it, post pictures, share advice. It aligned perfectly with sort of who Stahls is as a company and how we got started. And so without further ado, let's take a look at some of the patterns we have here. So we have the top 10 search for patterns on your website. Do you want to walk through some of your favorites and sort of explain some of those to our listening audience?
Out of this top 10?
Yeah, go for it.
So I love this one. This is Washed Petals. It's beautiful. And my watercolor patterns are my personal favorites. They cut really, really well. And this is Lover's Rain Night. It's also a very, very popular pattern. And then, of course, our Christmas patterns. You don't want to miss our holiday patterns. They are amazing, and they just make those holiday t-shirts really, really fun. And then we have, of course, the very, very popular Buffalo Plaid. And we have it in a couple of different colors. We have awareness patterns.
Yeah.
We have a few here.
And so a lot of different choices. We just had a quick selection printed because we were, as many of the Stahls viewers may have noticed, for those that are always on our website, you knew what was coming because we had to launch SparkleBerry Patterns into the pattern designer to make sure those were tested and ready to roll for you. So if you've never used our pattern heat transfer vinyl before, you need to. It's printed on Express Print, which is one of our best quality products that we have. It's extremely durable. It'll outlast the garment. You get a really high quality. And so let's head over to Stahls.com so we can show you where to find these patterns and how they work. So first off, if you're not familiar with Stahls, CAD-Cut is our trademark brand of heat transfer vinyl. We call it CAD-Cut. We actually invented the whole product of heat transfer vinyl over 20 years ago, and since then have been the world's #1 manufacturer. So let's go down and find our patterns offering, which is in the bottom right of the CAD-Cut heat transfer vinyl selection. You click on that, and then you'll basically see our design houses and collection. One thing that I like about the website here is it gives you a nice huge visual of the patterns once we get into selecting those. So we're interested in the SparkleBerry Ink patterns today, so we'll start by selecting that particular collection. You see a nice little bio of Mandy there, and you also see some categories that makes it easy to navigate through. So while the categories are loading, we have lots going on with live streaming here, so the internet's doing its best to keep up here in rural Pennsylvania where Stahls TV broadcasts from. But what are some of your favorite categories so we can show them off?
Well, I love them all, of course, but probably the animal category is a really fun one, so let's look at that.
Okay, so you click on the category you'd like, and basically it will render, and it's going to start to display the patterns for us. We did a test run when we weren't broadcasting live out of here, so it will load much quicker for you as the user, but when we start to have this live streaming feed, that's why you're seeing the little bit of delay here. So basically, we're working on loading that pattern selection. Once that loads, your patterns are a little different than the Stahls patterns. Ours have some color change ability where you can choose from, I think, 100 colors in the Stahls color palette, but you've already taken a lot of the work out of it for the decorator by selecting popular patterns and colorways.
Right, we do. Most of our patterns have at least more than one colorway, and that we think we've done a great job with that, yeah.
Okay, so basically you select your pattern, you select your style. One of the big things that we were excited about is to be able to bring rolls of material to your customer. Right now you just do sheets, so you can order a continuous 5 or 10 yard roll and get the benefit of a lower price by ordering it that way. The roll comes to you rolled on a small cord just like you see here, and then you're ready to load that into the vinyl cutter. So I'd like to walk over to the vinyl cutter and sort of show you how that process works. So we're using the Graphtec here. What does your customer base primarily use from a vinyl cutter standpoint?
I think the Silhouette and the Cricut would be probably the most popular.
Okay, so you can use it across any craft cutter, small format cutter, or 24-inch cutter that we're using here. We load it, if we can come in close here, we load it pattern side up. And so this particular print, what's the name of this one?
This is Featherly Teal, and there are 3 colorways. Actually, there are 4 colorways to this.
Okay, so you preload the pattern side up, you complete your test cut, and then basically you're just going to send your vector artwork as if it were a standard roll of heat transfer film. Now, we're cutting this a little bit differently in that we're cutting this in the positive, correct, when we're dealing with patterns?
Yes, and I like to say pretty side up, and then I don't mirror cut. So that's the language I use, but yeah, I think it's actually easier to remember not to mirror cut.
Yeah, so commonly decal vinyl, sign vinyl, sticky vinyl, whatever you call it, is processed like this as well, where you're actually cutting in the positive. So it's going to cut the whole design in the positive there. If you have a Graphtec cutter or a roll-fed cutter, like you see here, it's going to feed continuously. And so you can load the whole roll and send it at once, especially if you're cutting for a group where I'm doing a dozen of these at once. I don't have to individually load each sheet. I just process this and send it all together. Now, if we can flip back to the computer while it's completing cutting, you can see we have the animal prints up. So we're fast moving here. We want to make the best use of your time. And so you can see a lot of these animal prints that you like. Did you have a favorite that you wanted to show?
Yes, let's show Namaste Tusk.
Okay, so that would be this one. You get a nice big visual of each pattern, and then you just click which one you want, and then it displays up in the top, and you can see a nice big visual that it displays, and then you can click on the Select Color tab, and you can actually see the predefined colorways in that particular pattern. In this case, we have a pink, a purple, and a yellow. You select what you like, move on to the next step, and that's where you go to your roll length and quantity. So specifically here, you can just enter whether you want a 10-yard roll. Mask is another important part of the process that we're going to get to here momentarily. So let me just, while we're sort of in between the patterns and the mask, I'm going to feed this material out that's been cut. I'm going to slice it off of the cutter. And then I'll take my cut piece over to the table to prepare it to weed. This is live. The mic did fall off and caught on the stand behind me. So I think my audio is still coming through well. And so you get this design that's already been pre-cut. Now, something about patterns is that when you're dealing with a designer pattern, it makes it a little bit tough to see the cut lines. So you can actually feel the cut lines on this when you're working with it. So I know the corner of my design is right here, and then I can start to weed away the excess. Do you like to weed?
I actually don't like to weed, but my daughter loves it.
Yeah, so it's great to have family, friends, employees that like to weed, or at least get paid for doing it, that are willing to weed. It's not my favorite task either, but this Express Print product, as you can see here, there's very minimal breaking. It's very easy to weed. So peeling it away, it doesn't have a sticky backing at all that a lot of standard heat transfer films have. So the weeding process is actually pretty easy. So you weed it all away, and then you can feel for the cut lines, weed out the center pieces of the design. And then basically, we're going to prepare to mask it. And so one tip I have, because sometimes it is tough to see particularly where the cut lines are, so outside of feeling for them, which I just did there, would be to have a printout of your vector artwork beside in like black and white. And that way, as you're weeding, you can visually have a printout to make sure you know where all of those cut lines are.
That's a great idea.
So once it's all weeded away, we're going to complete what's called the masking process. Now I like to remove this outside edge to get a nice clean space to mask. If you don't mind peeling that away for me.
It just weeds like butter.
Like butter.
So nice.
That's a good way to say it. And then the masking material, do you want to explain a little bit of how that works?
Yes, this is patterned vinyl sometimes can be intimidating at first if you don't know how easy it really is. I like to explain it that it's just like the adhesive vinyl process. So like we said, pretty side up, and then you're not mirror cutting, and then you weed it, and then you're going to take your special mask, which is made just for heat transfer vinyl, and I'm actually going to cut it to size so it's not awkward.
Now the mask does come the exact same width as the patterns. We just have a piece here, but it will come in a roll 20 inches wide that will match your patterns width that we're selling here.
And you know what I love about it too? It's reusable.
Yeah.
So that's always great. And this is a big design. Okay. So basically we've already weeded it just like this, and we're going to use this mask to pull it away from. Oh, it almost made it.
That's all right.
Oh yeah, because it'll still pick it up. To pull this away from the liner, and then what word do you guys use?
We call it squeegeeing.
Okay, good, because I don't say the other. It's burnish, I think, but just squeegee it.
Yeah, and if you have a little piece that you're worried about that the mask wasn't big enough, quick little tip: just cut another piece of mask, and you can actually just make sure it attaches to both areas and put it right over top. So you can always save that.
Right, and then it just should come right off of that liner.
I can hold that for you.
Oh, good, thank you.
So this is a large design. The nice thing is the material does come 20 inches wide by a continuous roll. So you can do any size of design you want. You can nest up designs. What I like to do is after it's masked, I don't know if you do this as well, Mandy, but position it back down to the mask liner itself, and that makes it very easy to store it. And now when it's over at the heat press, it removes very easy from this to apply over to the garment. And so just to go back to the website to make sure you know how to pick up mask for the product, basically the mask is sold by the roll. It's going to be listed right under the pattern material. So as you're adding your pattern of choice to the cart, you can get complimentary roll of mask, add it to your cart, and check out. Now, you do need to have an account with Stahls.com. It's very easy to set up the account if you haven't ordered from us before. Basically, you just go click in the top right-hand corner and register, and that's the process. So before we head over to the heat press, let's just take a look at some of these other pattern categories that we have going here. Is there another favorite that you have?
Well, let's go to watercolor because that is my actual favorite.
Okay, so we're going to click on watercolor, and then you can see preloads. What are some of the popular ones if people want to try these SparkleBerry patterns for the first time? What should they order?
I would suggest Lover's Rain. There are 2 colorways for that, and it's really, really beautiful. It cuts really well. And my personal favorite right now is Pastel Stream. It is so beautiful.
Yeah, this is the Pastel Stream. Yeah, it looks nice. And so you can see the little ruler going across the bottom of the designer, so you can see the scale of the particular pattern that you're selecting to make sure your design is going to render as you see fit. Because that's something really important. When you think about pattern materials, there's always some best practices and tips with how to design. And I know the scale of pattern to the size of your graphic is a really important thing.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
And any other tips that you can think of from a designing with pattern standpoint if somebody's never used them in their business?
Yeah, I think that whenever you use larger icons, that's when you get the best effect. So if you think about I like to mix medias. So I may do my fonts in a solid color or glitter, and then I mix that with using the pattern for like a big icon or something on there. But also if you have a chunky font, it looks great for that as well.
Yeah, so making sure the pattern renders properly and the size of your design, going with bulkier designs and fonts, and then mixing media, which we're going to do here in a moment over at the heat press, is going to be great. Now, I think there's some questions coming in, or at least some comments, and Twinkle Farts, which is a really cool name. You know her, right?
Yes, yeah. I do. Hi, Gina.
She says, look at those cute leggings in the background. So thanks for the lob on that one, Twinkle Farts. Let's go over here and take a look at our model that we've decorated. And this was one of the patterns you just printed out, or pointed out, actually.
It is. This is Lover's Rain Night, and these are our leggings we are super excited about.
Yeah, and so one of the things that I think is really cool when you're selling as a business, wouldn't it be really neat to be able to merchandise like this and up the value of that sale by having the actual design on the shirt match the design that's on the leggings, which can be great for the youth market. So if you look at the design on the shirt, this is cut out of the exact same pattern, everything matches, and then you get that nice coordinated look, which is going to help you up the value of each customer and the average sale amount, make you more money as a business.
I love this. I'm taking this outfit home with me.
So great. And then just speaking specifically of the leggings, what if somebody wanted to order the leggings, because that's something complimentary that's not on the Stahls site but goes well, how would they do that?
So you would go to mysparkleberry.com, and that is where we have several of our patterns there, and we're going to be adding other patterns as well. So definitely check it out.
Yeah, and we'll get into the full selection of some other samples of leggings and even shorts here in a moment after we heat press some stuff. What other questions? Those leggings are the bomb. Mandy Girl Boss. All right, this is fun. Okay. I don't get comments like that, so you know. Come on, Stahls audience. All right, what else? Love this. It's viewable for me. Okay, good. So I think we're in good shape. We're getting lots of good comments about the partnership. We're so excited about it. Good. If there's any other questions, Courtney, as you're working the computer, if you don't mind stopping us and tossing those in, because it's kind of tough, so many comments to read through the feed here on the screen that we have here at Stahls TV Studios in front of us. With that in mind, let's head over to the heat press and make this product come to life by decorating a garment or two.
Awesome.
So we have the Hotronics Fusion heat press, and if you don't mind coming up here, Mandy, you got a little tour of how we make heat presses this morning.
Yes.
What'd you think?
It was amazing.
Yeah, so we took Mandy through our Hotronics facility, which is the heat press manufacturing division of Stahls that's been based here in Pennsylvania, where we invented the modern day heat press with accurate time, temperature, and pressure, and got to take her through that facility and talk a little bit about different choices of heat press. This is my favorite, the Hotronics Fusion, and it's my favorite for a few different reasons. So let's start by taking a garment. Let me take this one, start here, and loading it onto the press. One of the big differences on the Hotronics press versus other machines is that you can thread the garment, meaning I can split that open, and in the case where I have like a racer back sort of style, it gets rid of the seam structure for me. So I don't have any of those issues with seams wanting to print through. I drop it on, and then Taylor's working her way around here to get a close-up. Load that on so the seams and everything fall off, and then I'm going to complete the preheat step just to remove the moisture and wrinkles.
And that's definitely one of my favorite things about this one is the threadable option. That was really cool.
Yeah, yeah. And so we think that customers are going to use these patterns to upgrade teamwear or school spirit apparel. We see that being one of the big uses here. And so we're going to do a multicolor combination here where we're going to press fashion film down first. This is the top heat transfer vinyl that Stahls sells for lightweight t-shirts. And fashion film is really cool because I can just literally tack it down for a few seconds to get it to hold in place, saving me a little bit of time. Going to remove that carrier. It is a hot peel, so it comes right off. And then I'm going to take my design a little smaller this time from what we cut, right?
You couldn't have given me that one.
I made it tough on you. And I'm going to position that into place. This one's intended to be layered to have like a cool effect on top of the fashion film. Now, something I want to point out with any heat transfer vinyl, it's a good tip, anytime you have this overlapping carrier, I'm going to want to be careful about pressing this for the full setting because it's going to leave an indentation mark across the fashion film. So what I like to do is, one of the big features of our mask is that I can do that same tack as well, just to get it to temporarily stay. So I'll give it a few seconds. going to peel away that carrier to limit the indent mark on the fashion film. That way, when I cover it and apply it for the full recommended time, temperature, and pressure, I'm going to get a quality, durable design. The pattern material typically takes 300 degrees for 15 seconds, but since I'm combining that with fashion film, I'm up at 320 degrees to make sure I reach the melting point of that particular adhesive. And that's a beautiful result. I'm telling you, this stuff's going to sell like hotcakes.
So pretty.
When you start showing this in your store. And the best thing is, with the durability, it's going to outlast the garment, and then it feels nice too. I know you were complimenting, or commenting, I should say, on the feel of the material earlier.
It is. It's so nice. It's thin. It just, I mean, almost feels like it's part of the shirt. It's great.
Good. So that's one mixed media result. I'm going to hold that up for you here. You can see the finished result. This particular garment, because I know we always get those sorts of questions, is from Sanmar, which is one of our favorite blank apparel suppliers. And let's see, let's load something else to show a different style. I'm going to grab this hoodie here. Courtney, come on in, because I feel like we need another voice here. So Courtney's always on Stahls TV for you, you all that watch. Courtney, what are some of the things you were most excited? Because I know you and Jenna, it was like Christmas last week when all of these patterns came in and you heard about the collaboration. So talk to our viewers a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I think this is definitely in Jen and I's wheelhouse. We were so excited to bring on the patterns, and so there's a lot of opportunity, I think, for our audience to sell this. We just saw the one look with Spirit Wear, and I mean, when we looked on the website, when we first launched everything, we saw the hundreds of different options that are available with different colorways and different pattern types, and I mean, there's so many ways to sell it. So I was looking at Spirit Wear, different ways to mix colors with the patterns to really make them pop for Spirit Wear, especially because now in our industry, a lot with Spirit Wear and children's apparel and ladies apparel, the bright colors are really what we're seeing trending. So it's a way to kind of get those popular patterns as popular colors now into those different markets. I love it for boutique designs. I love it for all children's apparel. Just a huge opportunity, really, depending on the market and the opportunity you're selling for.
Yeah, and that was a comment when we were talking yesterday that you made, Mandy, as well, that there's really not, because I said, what's the demographic, what's the age group that likes SparkleBerry patterns? Mm-hmm. And how you responded was, there's really no specific age. It spans the whole range.
It does. It does, from little bitty girls to older women and everybody in between.
So I think making sure that you don't limit this product just to children's wear, that you merchandise it across the board, because I think there's a huge audience that wants designer patterns or bright, colorful patterns. So certainly a big opportunity. One of the big things I like, because I'm seeing some comments where you guys have to have this press. We can help you with that, by the way, at Stahls. But you want to swap this platen out. So there's a lever under here that actually allows you to change the platen out from a 16 by 20. And we're going to come up close here to take a peek at what I call the heart of the press. And I'm going to drop in the 11 by 15 platen. So it's a nice pin registration system. It just drops into the hole, and I close the lever, which is on the other side. There's just a lever here that locks in to lock the platen into place, and I'm going to slide that machine back in. It draws or swings. And the reason I want this 11 by 15 platen is because I need to get rid of the seam structure, and actually I need it rotated the other way, so it's very easy to rotate them.
This is just crazy cool too. I love it.
Yeah, the press.
Being able to, it's just so versatile. I love it.
So when I load this now, I can get rid of the collar. I can get a nice flat printing area. This is going to be far enough away and it's a thin enough seam. I'm not worried about that thin seam on the pocket. So it's just a way for me to load. I'm going to preheat and adjust my pressure. It does have a digital pressure readout on the machine, so you can't mess up the print unless you're not following the instructions. And then we are going to print this on. So I'm going to start. This is just another multicolor combination. I think I knew which way the state went. I don't. Position that into place.
That's the first step.
Yeah, first step is knowing your geography. And let's tack that into place. I'm not afraid to admit my shortcomings live on Facebook.
That's good. That's a good quality.
I
Peel
am
the
seeing
backing.
a few questions coming in on Facebook. So Suzanne had asked about the durability for this product. She didn't see it listed on the website. So this product, Suzanne, would be the same as our Stahls Express Print. So it's actually going to be lifetime of the garment. So we still have a high durability for this product as well. So it's still our high quality for print and for the durability as far as washing goes. And then there also was a question Tommy had asked, is SparkleBerry Patterns going to be exclusive to Stahls, or can we still purchase them at SparkleBerry? You can still buy them from both places. The main difference is now that you'll be able to buy them in larger rolls from Stahls. So still same great place. Then it's, Mandy has a lot of great customer service, so you can still work with her team there if you're used to that.
Yeah, if you want to buy sheets, SparkleBerry's website would be the place to get it. If you want to buy by the yard or in the roll, we're going to have that option available. So should have the same pattern selection from both places. At least we're working to get to that point. So even on larger designs like this, still very soft, very pliable, and that's another pattern choice. I think this one's in the stripes category, if I remember, on the website. So some really cool options. Now, I do want, if we can head back over to the table, thank you, Courtney, by the way, and let's talk through this leggings collection and some of the different things you have going on here. And you're probably best positioned to talk through how that works.
Yes, so this is, remember my favorite print, I said Namaste Tusk. This just happens to be it in purple. And these are, we actually offer the leggings in children's all the way up through 5X. So there's a wide range. I'm thinking like mommy and me and matching outfits like the outfit we saw earlier. These are super high quality, very, very soft. They hold you in so nicely, and they're high-waisted, which I really love. That's very trendy right now. And so there are 20 or so patterns on there right now, and you should head on over there. We're going to be adding more eventually, but right now we have some great patterns up that you guys should check out. mysparkleberry.com. These aren't coming just yet.
Secrets.
Drippy brush. And there are 2 colorways for that.
Okay.
Yep.
And then there were some shorts as well, right?
Yes. Oh, and the booty shorts. These are actually my favorite.
Yeah.
The booty shorts are great. They're all great, but I love these shorts. So any pattern that's offered in leggings, they're also offered in the booty shorts. And then this is kind of the crowd pleaser, especially the pineapple. They're so cute.
And that's available. The point is that's available in the heat transfer vinyl to match the leggings. And the cool thing about the heat transfer vinyl, it applies as low as 300 degrees. So you can decorate a lot of that performance apparel even with the heat transfer vinyl that would pair well with the legging set. So whether you want to print polyester, tri-blends, cotton garments, the express print material that the SparkleBerry prints are created on go across the board for application. Actually, we even have folks applying it to polypropylene, which is like your recyclable bags that you see at the supermarkets at 250 degrees on the temperature for a special application. So plenty of opportunities for that. Just for those that are joining late, we want to head back over to the website and show you what's new that launched. These are SparkleBerry Patterns available from Stahls. You just go to the website and click on our pattern offering, click on SparkleBerry as the collection, and you'll read a nice little bio there on Mandy and her company. And we are so excited to bring you all of these designer, bright colored patterns. There are hundreds and hundreds of patterns more that I can go through live on air. Things like unicorn trails and whirly giggles and mermaids and mermaid scales. So if it's on trend, it's available now in our patterns line. So select the colorway. This particular mermaid scale only has one color combination, so it will tell you if there's not different colorways available. You enter your roll length and quantity, basically add it to the cart and check out. All available direct from Stahls.com. The other big thing is if you are a loyal Stahls customer and you receive a loyalty discount from us, whether that's from 3% to 6%, depending on how much product you buy, your trade discounts also apply to this product. So there's a lot of opportunity to get some savings on designer patterns of heat transfer vinyl. So we're super excited. And we talked before, we're going to co-launch new patterns and collaborate on some things like that. So there's plenty exciting things coming down, at least from a pattern design standpoint, but also from a product standpoint. I don't want to give away too much right now, but we have some really exciting innovations coming down the pipeline. So these SparkleBerry prints that you love on this basic express print material that's still high quality and very nice, it's going to be translated onto even more products, things you haven't even seen before that you can be super excited about.
I can't wait.
Okay, so we're getting some OMGs, love the pineapples, all kinds of fun stuff. So I would encourage you, if you want these patterns, our digital production department is standing by ready to print those. Typically, our patterns are guaranteed to ship in 48 hours. However, usually we get them out very next day. So the turn time is very quick. We print them on demand based on what you order. So I would encourage you to get your order in, and you can even have them and playing with them, depending on where you're located by this holiday weekend. What other questions do we have coming in, Courtney, that we can take before we conclude?
The only other question was just following up on the durability of the SparkleBerry vinyl compared to printable vinyl. So if you just want to touch back on that.
Yeah, the guaranteed to outlast the garment, so it's our exact same heat transfer material that we use for our standard patterns, and so you get superior durability. The only big difference between this and a regular heat transfer vinyl, other than of course you get the designer pattern, is that you need to cut this into positive, you need to weed it, and you need to mask. Now, I did promise that I would tell you why we sell it like this rather than just laminated with the carrier. One reason was you can reuse the mask, so you get some cost savings there, but there's another big reason, and that's a process with embroidery that you can actually use these patterns with. So if I have any embroiderers out there, you're going to love to see this video I'm going to show you right now. Now, we didn't have enough time to do this with SparkleBerry patterns, but we used just a generic Stahls animal print pattern because I want to show you the process. So with this, you're going to sew out a placement stitch on your embroidery machine, and we call this process Away Applique.
That's so clever.
Yeah, so it's neat. I think we came up with the process back in, I want to say 2012 or 13 roughly. So you sew your placement stitch, and that basically gives you a location to put your panel. One of the painful things about applique is typically you have to lay out those letters individually, but with Away Applique, I can just lay the whole pattern. I separate it from the backing when I order the roll of SparkleBerry patterns. I place it over top of that placement stitch, and now I'm going back over to the machine, or in this case, Andrea from ZSK, who gave us that embroidery machine, is going back over and sending it to sew out. So first thing it's going to sew a tack down stitch just to hold the material into place so it's not going to pucker on you. So you get that tack down stitch to sort of lock the material into place once it's in the hoop. And then it's going to come back around and really do the magic here, and it's going to sew a satin stitch. So this is a really dense satin stitch. It's a common stitch type, especially if you're decorating any apparel for high schools or collegiate apparel. There's zigzag stitch and satin stitch. This process requires a satin stitch because it's actually perforating the material. So the needle is acting as if it's cutting the material. And so it perforates the material, and then the magic happens, which is the rip away process. So all of this material would rip away at this point, so you want to make sure you don't grab the insides of those letters. You just want to start just like you're weeding, but you're weeding right on the garment after it's been sewn, where I'm going to grab the outside edge, and I'm going to start to weed away the excess. Okay, you're just peeling it away, just like you would weed.
Amazing. I know I have several customers that are just going to go crazy about this.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that they can use the one material can be used two different ways, so it really helps you to get more opportunities out of the stock that you're holding there in your shop. So wow. I peel away all the excess, only about a minute left in this video, and then the next step is I'm going to make sure I have all those little pieces out in between the C's and at the very corner, so tweezers are always helpful for this process. That's your weeder in this process. And then I'm going to take that over to the heat press. Now we're using a little accessory here on that Fusion that we showed you earlier called a heat printing pillow. Basically it just gives you a lower density surface so the material, the pattern can get down around the edges of that satin stitch that stands off the garment, so the satin stitch sinks into the pillow. And then I'm going to cover that with a cover sheet to make sure that beautiful pattern print doesn't stick to the heater. Even though it's Teflon coated, a cover sheet always is a good idea here, and I give that a nice firm pressure to complete the application. So you follow the normal application instructions for express print. The only difference is you use a pillow, and I have a highly durable quality result. Can you imagine your SparkleBerry prints and applique everywhere?
I know, and in sports, I think SparkleBerry in sports, that's a really cool concept.
Yeah, and speaking of the sports category, I know we had a question earlier about a cheetah print, and so I want to go back to this category. I believe we had, if we go back to the designer, I think we had the animal prints category. And one of the designs we were talking about earlier, there is a cheetah, but there's a cheetah pop.
I love this one.
Yeah,
Cheetah Pop Pastel is my favorite.
Yeah, so this was really cool. But there's all kinds of prints. I mean, you're going to spend hours looking at all these different prints. I mean, my recommendation here to get started is maybe pick a print from each category. Start with, you can get a larger roll if you think it's going to be popular, but you can do as little as a 1-yard cut. Add that to your cart altogether and start experiencing this product and creating samples. And of course, make sure you share those samples with other viewers and other businesses that are trying to grow in different parts of the country on our Facebook page or on Mandy's Facebook page over at SparkleBerry Ink. What else?
I don't know. I'm just so excited.
Yeah, it's an exciting future. For sure. So you'll hear a lot more about SparkleBerry Patterns as we add new and different products and new and different patterns. But we thank you for joining us for this Facebook Live. And Mandy, we thank you
Oh, you're welcome.
so
Thank
much
you
for coming in.
having me.
Yeah,
Yes,
from
thank
Atlanta.
you.
Okay, so we will talk again soon. We're broadcasting live to the Stahls audience again tomorrow. If you like the SparkleBerry Ink, is it going to the SparkleBerry Ink page or the SparkleBerry for Business group?
The Ink page.
Okay.
So just the regular business page.
So if you like the SparkleBerry Ink business page and want to see something like this again, we'll be broadcasting again right after lunch to show you some more projects and patterns. Thanks so much for watching.